Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us with another Priestess View. I'm Goddess Rhonda, and of course, we have with us our beautiful Goddess Star.
Hi, everyone. Good to be here again tonight. And again, look at how gorgeous Goddess Rhonda looks tonight.
Thank you. Oh, wait, I did not mute myself. That's my fault.
Okay, let me make sure I did. Oops, I didn't either. Oh, dear. That was not good. We both did not do the unmuting thing. Okay, we got it.
Okay, we got it. So tonight, we actually had planned to have the Witch of Sleepy Hollow, Crystal Madison, here with us as a part of our roundtable, but unfortunately, the flu has struck her family, and of course, family takes priority. So she's going to come and join us
next week.
And we'll be talking a lot about the ethics of being a community spiritual leader, what our responsibilities are, how to set up an effective, witch fest or hex fest or that sort of thing. That I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but you get
events, different events. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Festivals and events. Thank you.
Yes.
And so we'll have all that next week. So tonight we're going to go ahead and focus on internet witchery. But before we get started, we are going to go ahead, as always, and cast our circle of protection.
And for some reason, the humidity is so bad here that I am like, everything is sweating. Okay.
All hail, our lords and ladies of the East, our brothers and sisters, our brother and patron, the sacred element of air, namaste, divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you. So it is. So mote it be.
Thank you. And so it is. So mote it be. Oh, candle wax dripping. Ooh, hold on. 1 second. Candle wax dripping all over here. Okay. All hail our lords and ladies of the South, my brothers and sisters, my brother and patron, the sacred element of fire. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction. From corner to corner and end to end, let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you. So it is, and so mote it be.
So it is. So mote it be. All hail, our lords and ladies of the West, our brothers and sisters, our sister and patron, the sacred element of water. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you. So it is. So mote it be.
So it is, and so mote it be. All hail our lords and ladies of the North, my brothers and sisters, my sister and patron, the sacred element of earth. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is. So mote it be.
So it is. So mote it be. And we now bring down the divine white light from the sacred source of all well-being and fill all of our spaces with peace and protection always. So it is, so mote it be.
So it is, and so mote it be.
Awesome. So, again, tonight we're talking about internet witchery, which is actually a pretty fascinating subject. So we've got all kinds of different kinds of magics going on. Now, I've also heard, before we start to get into things, I have heard, and I do agree, that energy can come at you through your computer. I know there's plenty of times that I've been sitting here doing work and have just gotten exhausted for no reason. Then I get up and get away from the computer and I get my energy back. So there are some crafty people out there that do use the internet to, they can sabotage your shows or sabotage you or do all kinds of terrible things. But, you know, on the other hand, there's also good things that we can do too. Goddess, have you ever been in front of your computer and just got like exhausted or feel like something's coming through it?
Actually, it's not just yes, but I think it happens to us on a daily basis. Because have you ever realized, I think it's an inadvertent thing that happens no matter what, whether it's through the crafting of someone or yourself or whatever it is. Because I think when we sit in front of the computer for a length of time, it draws that energy back and forth between us, and you do get tired. I don't know about you, but I've almost fallen asleep at the computer, even though I'm actually working, which means I should be the brain and mind and everything all occupied.
Right.
But for some reason, you find yourself your eyes are going down, you're falling asleep, and you really want to stay up and do this. And I know it's happened to me, so I'm sure it's happened to you, where you've literally fallen asleep at the computer. You woke up drooling all over the computer skis, and you're going, crap. And I'm going, crap, I should have put this away, you know? No, I was sleeping with the computer, okay? And there it is. It's become, a lot of us are lovers and whatever else, because there it is. You know, because it's become part of our lives. It's integrated itself into our lives. And when I think about, when you mentioned us talking about that topic, because we kind of do everything, and people don't realize this, but we do. We shoot straight from the hip, right out of our heads. Everything comes up because we really don't have the time to prepare for the show. That's the truth. I'm being honest with you guys. So we would say, you know, Goddess Rhonda would say, Star, what do you think about this topic? And we'll both go, yeah, that's good. Let's just do that. So we telling you the truth when we tell you these things it's the truth of what we see and what we watch carry on with our lives. So we are busy with the internet, with everything else. And what you get is what you see is what you get, kind of a thing, you know? So I'm watching us, all of us, even now. What did we just do? We did the casting of the quarters. We do this every time, without fail. We cannot start the show without it. And isn't that part of the internet? We all do this different things that we kind of do. And we all, I don't care who we are are doing some sort of kind of internet witchery. It's just become, because like with everything else, you see that cell phone in your hand? We cannot exist without that cell phone. Okay. So all those things, and you know, you've got it programmed, you got Siri. I got my friends going, hey Siri, what's going on with whatever? And I'm like, what are you doing? Well, it's Siri I'm talking to. Right. Okay. You know what I mean? We are all doing it in one form or another. That's our magic. So why not? And it's funny because we don't think about it. But yes, we all know about the old gods and goddesses. And the reason you would hear me sometimes say, I pray to the old and new gods and goddesses, because the new gods and goddesses, we all know the old ones, but the new ones are all the mechanical, the electrical, the internet, all of that are the new gods and goddesses. So that means we have to now start beginning to learn their names, beginning to learn how to work with them, and like I said, get to know their names, get to know who they are, what they are, their offerings, their likes, their dislikes, all the different things. I mean, we all do it in one form or another, whether we realize it. We give it a gender too. We do that. We have a tendency to give whatever it is a gender. So we feel whatever that gender is, and you will have people sitting next to you and going, or even Goddess Rhonda over there, and I'm here, she's in New Mexico, and we would start saying he or she automatically without whatever it is, right? Because we gave it a gender. You know what I mean? So the internet is a vast, vast tool that many people are using because they are alone in one section of the United States or the world or whatever it is. Because I know for a fact, Goddess Rhonda, you know, we get a lot of emails saying, well, I live in the middle of Bible Belt with no other witch around me, so what can I do? You know, so this is why the internet has become this amazing, vast witch tool that a lot of people use. Well, don't you agree, Goddess?
I agree 1,000,000%. Absolutely. The internet, and if you even think about it, they have a hard time even charging internet crimes because the question is, well, where is the internet? The internet is everywhere. So if I live in New Mexico and I commit a computer crime somewhere in Spain and it shows up in Spain somewhere, they don't know where I'm coming from. And even if they find out, you have to prove it. The internet is an entire universe of energy. And we're all just pouring our thoughts into it, our intentions when we write emails or send resumes or even look up spells there. Now you can just, when I was growing up, you guys are lucky because what we had was a library that had, if you were lucky, it had like one book in it on witchcraft, which was always checked out, so you would never get your hands on it anyway. And now you can just go and look up love spells, hate spells, money spells, health spells,
Yeah.
whatever you can come up with. You just type it in, and there it is. So it's also made it easier for people to access wisdom and knowledge. So there's a lot of good things that do come with it, but also, we also have to look at there's also an irresponsibility that can
Yeah,
come with this as well.
absolutely.
I've looked at spell sites. I won't name anybody because I'm not going to, put anybody down, but there is one very prominent one that I see on Facebook all the time, and it drives me nuts because they'll say, oh, a spell to do whatever it is. And you go and you take a look at the spell, and basically it gives no real information about protecting yourself, doing a circle, anything at all. It's basically like reading a recipe for a chocolate cake. Okay, so you take this herb and you take this and you take that, and then you blow on it and you make your intention and it's all done. Or there's a lot of irresponsible things, I think, that go on too, where they're not really giving you what I call, and keep in mind, this is my opinion, you don't have to agree with me, what I call proper spell casting techniques and protections. Even with meditations, you can get attacked during a meditation. If you're going in shamanic journeying or doing things and you didn't bother to set up your protections or anything like that, because you're going into other realms. And just like there's good and bad in this realm, there's good and bad in all realms. There's criminals in every realm. And if you don't take certain precautions to make sure that you're safe, you can get attacked, you can get hijacked. So I do think I'm glad that there is all of this knowledge that's at everyone's fingertips. But you also have to look at everything and make sure. I'm more concerned with the newbies out there. I can look at a spell and I already know how to do my circles and protections and stuff. But for the newbies that just want to, they watch Charmed on TV and decided they're going to be a witch too, and, go online and how to be a witch, and there's all kinds of information, and not all of it is going to give you the proper precautions and the proper wisdom or start you from scratch to even explain why what you're doing is going to work. You don't even understand why you're using elements or why you're using a certain herb or what's going on here. I think that to me I think it's irresponsible. What do you think, Goddess Star?
Absolutely. But you know what? I'm going to say to people, I'm not going to entirely hold whoever it is that's putting out the spells responsible, because as adults, now if a youngster is doing it, again, it's on the parent to parent their child and try to make sure they help guide them.
Mm-hmm.
Depending, I guess, depending on if the parent is a witch or not. So there's a lot of intricacies there with that, because like you said, it is the internet leaves it open to a subject of interpretation, as well as it leaves it up to you whether at what age you are to be the responsible person and take it with a grain of salt or take it and use it more responsibly, because you have to kind of wonder, if someone puts out these spells and don't give you the whys and wherefores with it, like how responsible is that person? And then you have to sit back and go, okay, even if I am taking this spell, I should then, if you're smart about it, again, this is just my opinion, you will then go and research the herbs, the oils, the different things and see what it is that it does, the attributes of that. So if what you want to do is the right thing to do, because there are spells out there, depending on your tradition, of where to them it's okay to manipulate a person to love you and all those different things. To
Right.
me, on my path, it's not. So I can't say traditional wise what's right or wrong. That's up to the subject to the persons involved and what they're willing to do or not do. I always just kind of say, I don't wish to have anyone do a manipulative love spell on me, wanting me to be part of their love unit when I am not attracted to that person. I wouldn't want it to happen to me. So you have to think of it from that point of view. Would you want it? Would you want to do that to, if you want to have someone do that to you, or if you should be doing that to someone? You have. There's a lot of ethical or non-ethical things about it. So you have to be very responsible for yourself and your actions. You
Right.
cannot turn around and then say, well, I took this spell off the internet and I used it, so it's their fault for doing whatever. No, 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 no. The minute you decided to use it, that was now the responsibility is on you to act accordingly to your morality and your own ethics. So whatever it is you do, I do have to tell people, learn to take responsibility for your own actions and all the things that you're doing with your witchcraft. It is just whatever it is that you're willing to do or not do, or whatever your belief of tradition is or isn't. Again, I'm not denoting or denouncing or in any way ridiculing anyone else's traditions. I'm
Right.
simply saying we each come from a different point of view and how we work our magics. So you have to decide to further study it or educate yourself on it to see where you stand yourself. So whatever occurs with that spell, again, it's your responsibility, no one else's. What do you think, Goddess?
I think you are right on point with that. It is your responsibility. And even if you're with your children, I remember this is going, I'm talking way, way back into the olden days, before computers even were thought of, probably. I remember that we had one book in our library, which was really a piece of crap. It really was. Even in my inexperience, I knew it was a piece of crap. And in that book, there were also different kinds of sex spells and things like that. And I took I had taken the book back. And I was in the library on another day and I saw, and this is, I think it might have been when Harry Potter first came out. And there was a mother and her daughter was probably, I don't know, 9 years old, 10 years old. And I saw that the daughter had this book in her hand, the same book with these sex spells in it. They were explicit. And the mother is smiling as she's looking at the kids looking at the book. And I said to the mother, I was like, excuse me, not for nothing, but I read this book and it is really not appropriate for a child. I think you should look at it. This woman just completely blew me off and let her little daughter take out this book. And so I'm like, well, you know what? When your daughter is getting a lesson that you don't want her to learn, you should have at least taken a look and read the table of contents. It would have taken you 2 seconds to see the sex spells and other things that your little 9-year-old does not need to be reading about. So I do think that it is important to take responsibility the same way I feel like you should pay attention to the TV shows that your children watch, because there's some crazy shows out there now, and a lot of them are violent. Pay attention to what your kids are reading, what kind of music they're listening to, and if they are a budding witch, a blossoming witch, then we should also pay attention to the spells that they're looking at. They should be supervised as well, because
Yeah.
you don't want your kids picking up some bad habits. Not everyone is ethical. At least make sure, if nothing else, at least make sure it's in your modality or your spirituality or the things that you believe the way things should be practiced, so that you don't, let your kids get exposed to things. I've had to go and clear tons of houses where kids decide to play with the Ouija board and invite things in, or they thought it was funny to invite a demon in. It's not funny. Those things are real. And so it really is important, I think, even as parents, to police your kids. If you're magical adults, then make sure that your kids are working within safe magical guidelines too. But I also do agree with Goddess Star you do have to take responsibility. You know, if you're looking up a spell, you should look up everything, you know, and then start to ask yourself always, what are the side effects? What are the bad things that can happen from this? And then figure out if you're protected from it. Just make sure that everything is in alignment so that these spells that you're getting off of the internet, look at them from a witch's perspective to see if it makes sense. Is it within something that you really want to do? That sort of thing. And then, you know, go ahead and roll with it. You know, I don't believe we should limit ourselves, but we do need to be responsible, especially with what we expose our children to. Because I couldn't believe that woman just let her daughter take out that book. She just like totally blew me off, like I didn't know what I was talking about. And I'm like, well, Mama's going to get a big surprise when she goes home and takes a look at that book, because there was a lot of stuff in there a 9-year-old girl does not need to see. But anyway, let's talk about the pros and cons of internet witchery. We can talk, I mean, we've got cyber covens, because I looked up, you know, what are they calling the internet covens? I just looked up internet covens because that's what, you know, I came up with. Internet covens, it grew to cyber covens and virtual covens. And the benefits, I mean, everything that I've read, I didn't read one thing that had something negative about being in a cyber coven or a virtual coven, or however you want to call it, an internet coven. I think that it is an awesome way to expand your community. If you're stuck in, you know, no man's land out there somewhere in the sticks and you don't have community, or you're around people that do not share your beliefs, you do not have to be alone anymore. There are so many internet covens and virtual covens that you can have brothers and sisters literally all over the world. Or you could start your own and solicit people to be in it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to being in an internet coven if you choose community. Some people are very happy being solitaries. You know, personally, I think when it all comes down to it, we're all solitaries, whether you're in a coven or not, because you are responsible for your own realm. But as far as people needing to meet other people, share wisdom, learn things, I think being in an internet or virtual coven, I think that's awesome, because it puts you out there, it connects you. And I wonder also, Goddess Star, what do you think about this theory? Since the internet, or the computers that we're using to access the internet, is through electricity, and electricity is energy, then I think maybe it could even add some extra oomph to a coven spell work if you were to tap in to the energy of the internet, of the energy of that the computer's using, the electricity, and put it into the spell, and everybody did that. I think that it would have a beneficial and uber boosting effect to the power of the spell. What do you think?
Actually, I think that's true. I mean, I don't see any reason not to believe that, because no matter what, energy is there in electricity. And it travels along so many wires. I mean, isn't that how we all connect?
Right.
In one form or another around the planet? That's how we all connect through the energy of the electrical energy going right through the whole planet. So it makes sense, when you're being logical about it, that yes, it should add an extra oomph. Like I said, I do believe all of these, the energy, the electrical, the internet, all of that, are all brand new gods and goddesses that we have to now learn. It would behoove us to begin to start to get to know some of them, and their names and different things, and then working with them now, just like we work with Goddess Hecate or Kali or anyone else that we know of old, begin to know their names and work with that, even making it more, not just reaching out to that energy, but saying, I know that energy's name, or that what I'm working with, and beginning to know them and honor them. And I think that it will even create it even bigger and better. You know, it's just my thoughts on it, because one of the books that I recommend to people is what's his name? Christopher Penzak's book on city magic. He talks a lot about the energies of the new gods and goddesses, and you know, of the subway being one of them, but that the trains going through the tunneling through the earth, and all the different gods and goddesses of electrical energies and stuff. I think if anything, read up on that book and see what you garner from it and how to work with these new gods and goddesses. I think it'll benefit your work if you're doing any of the internet type of covens or virtual covens or different things. Because yes, you know, just like with anything else, I mean, when we meet in person as a coven or a temple, you will meet people that either you don't get along with or you do get along with. The same thing goes virtually and internet wise. So I think it's the same kind. Treat the internet the way you would treat a regular human being, with either with respect or with the same. When you first meet a person, how would you treat them? Because you want to first get to know them, because not everyone is necessarily who they appear to be when you don't meet them or see them. When Goddess, just to give you guys an example, when Goddess Rhonda and I met, we met via the internet.
That's right.
You know, and someone brought us together with a bunch of different people, and out of all of them, she and I were the only ones that really connected and went on from there. So, you know, there are different, not everyone gets along, you know, so there are different ways of you also being responsible and using the same way that you would use when you meet a person for the first time in person. Treat the internet the same way with the person. You don't really know them until you really get to know them after years. Even after years, if you never met them in person, a lot of times you'll be wondering, okay, so who did I really meet? So you do have to be careful. You do have to be the same way that you would in person. Be smart about it. And if it would be great if you do meet people that you do get along with, that is being honest and is showing who they are, and working from there. And you can learn to work with some great people.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes, you can.
So.
Yes, you can. And if you want to, I always let people know that if you are, you know, lonely and you do want to meet someone in your community, that, because not everybody is comfortable on the internet. I understand that. Some people think, you know, oh, well, they're going to see that I'm a witch and they're going to persecute us. You know, many of us still carry that from past lives of being persecuted and tormented. And so a lot of people still want to not tell anyone about it, but they still want to meet up with someone in person, maybe privately. There is a website, Goddess Star knows it too. It's called the Witch Vox. It means the witch's voice.
Yeah.
And
That's a good one.
Witch and then Vox is VOX. Put them together, and it'll come up with it. And if you go all the way to the bottom, it'll say covens in your area or events in your area, and you'll be able to find covens and magical places or people in your own neighborhood. Also lists events. You can go to pagan prides and different festivals and ceremonies and things like that. So if you're not into the internet, that's cool. You can also go to Witch's Box and find people that you can meet up with in person.
Right. And then actually, that's not just a bad idea, but I mean, that's such a great idea, because even if you go there and you now meet them in person, you can then say, great, we can get online. Maybe we can't get together all the time, but maybe online, now that I've met you guys, let's form that internet coven or internet virtual.
We've got, hold on. I think we lost Goddess Star because she's frozen. All right, I'm sure she'll be back with us in a moment. So until she gets back.
Oh, so it was me that froze?
Oh, there you are.
I thought it was you that froze, and I was going, I said,
I don't know. My thing just says live, but it didn't. I'm not sure which one of us was frozen then.
oh,
I have no idea. But it doesn't matter. We're back.
Yeah, we're back. Okay. So yeah, it's always good to so I don't know if you guys heard me what I was saying then, you know, that it was good if you could also, by using Witchbox, you can get to go to these different events, meet with people in person, so that when you do get back online, if you can't meet all the time, you can create your own little coven or virtual internet connection there that you guys can continue from there. You know what I mean? But at least you can say, I met them in person. I know who they are, and we can do something together. Because that's pretty much what Rhonda and I did. You know what I mean? That's exactly what got us, Rhonda and I did. So
that is exactly. We met on
you
the
know,
internet through a completely different group, and then we ended up becoming besties and starting our own thing over here. So, there are benefits to that. So now let's talk about maybe not so great benefits of being a part of an internet coven. The internet is also filled with tricksters and crazy people, let's be honest.
yes.
So, someone can, people who are manipulative can create something and they can seem very sincere, but they might be trying to dupe you out of money or get something from you. You have to be very careful also when you're dealing with people on the internet, because you really don't know
Who they are.
who you're dealing with. Anybody, I can pretend to be anybody. I can change my name and change how I look and things like that. And I could just be a true con woman trying to rope you into this coven and then start asking you to pay me dues or things like that, or charge you to
Or even
cleanse you.
sexual favors eventually or something,
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So you also have to be very careful with who you're dealing with. Pay attention to what they're teaching, what they're saying, what the other members are saying. Kind of feel them out. Use your all of us witches are psychic. Use your intuition to really pay attention to the people that are talking, or the heads of the coven, or someone else, what they're doing in there, because anybody can be tricked. And you just never know who you're dealing with when you're on the internet. I'm a huge Discovery ID fan. I really should not watch it because it's usually it's single women that are getting murdered or whatever. But they have this, one of their shows is called Web of Lies, and it shows countless stories of people who met who they thought was a legitimate, caring person who was in alignment with their thoughts and their belief systems, and they end up getting ripped off or killed or involved with someone who's married and got 30 children or 3 wives all over the place. You just never know. So we also caution you to really be careful and vet the groups that you're joining. And if anything seems hinky, if your intuition is saying, I don't know, pay attention. Your intuition is telling you this for a reason. Say goodbye, wish them well. There's plenty of other internet people that are legitimate that can help to serve your needs. So I do think you should.
And as you mentioned that with being on the side of caution, I do have to say, yes, that all of those things you have to be very evenly more so online. But I have to tell you, do not forget to practice that same caution in person with people. Any coven or any bear that tells you you have to perform sex to be part of that coven with the elders on different things like that, they should not be asking you to do that. That's not part of it. That's not supposed to be part of it. And if they're coercing you into doing that, step back and see if that's what you really want to do, and do not allow anyone to do that to you. A lot of those crimes are going on, and it's very prevalent. And so you should be aware of all of those things, just so in person as well. Okay?
Absolutely. Now we're going to move on. Okay, so as Goddess Star was kind enough to tell you in the beginning, as she exposed us, we don't have time to do a lot of research. On our shows because we are very busy, and
I
and
threw us under the bus.
I do, and I feel bad because it's not. We knew about this show. I knew about the show for over a week, and I just have so much to do that the last second I was like, okay, we got to have something to talk about on this, and so we looked up some things. And one of the things I found is I was looking up internet covens. Let me go to my notes here. As I was looking up internet covens, I found this, and I hope I kept that website up so that I can put it in the chat room. Oh, look at our chat room. Let's say quickly, hi, everyone in the chat room. Forgive us for not saying that before.
Yeah.
You know how much we love you. Hi, Brother Francis. Brother Francis is one of my very good friends here. Well, thank you so much for coming. And we have Tamu, and we have Jay Key, and we have Ashley. Thank you so much, everyone. It's so good to see you. Peace to you as well. Jay Key is like, yeah, I remember the library and the Dewey Decimal. And
Oh,
the stupid card catalogs.
Jakey, I gotta tell you, you guys are making us sound so ancient. Oh my goddess, we are not ancient.
Oh yeah, look at this. Tamu says we are looking luscious. Well, thank you very much. I like looking luscious. Thank you, JP, for the comment about my online rituals being very powerful. Thank you so much. And we've got Ashley here. Blessed to you as well. Just wanted to say hi. I just want to tell you this very quickly before I get to the other thing that I was going to say. Is there was a time when I had not been in the library literally for years. And I needed some information. So I said, well, I'll go over to the library. And we used to have this thing was called the card catalog, where they had all the names of the books on these little index cards and what section they were in. So you'd look up either by author or by the title, and then it would tell you what section it was in. It was this big giant thing, because of course it's got all these books logged in it. And so I went to the library and I went to the space where the card catalog was the last time I had been in the library, and there was nothing there. And I'm standing there and I'm looking around, and the librarian said, can I help you find something? And I said, yeah, where's the card catalog? And she goes, we use a computer now.
Girl, get with the picture. Get with the new times.
Oh my God, I felt so ancient with the way she said it. Like, you know, where have you been? Have you been sleeping for the past 20 years? It was the way she said it. I was like, wow, no, I didn't know. Sorry. But anyway, I want to see if I kept this. I did mean to keep it up, and I hope that I did. If not, I'll find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, so as I was looking up internet covens and desperately trying to make notes, I came across something, and it said, let's scroll to the top.
And I found a couple of things, but you do yours. Go ahead.
How to cast spells using emojis. And I just like, oh my goodness, that just really set me off. So Goddess Star, I went through all of the emojis on my phone to come up with all different kinds of spells. And I was like, I'm going to put this, I kept the article up, so I'm going to post it in our chat room so that you all can take a look at it. But the first thing I saw when she was talking about it is, I hope I did not ruin this. Hold on for just 1 second. I hope I'm still here. Good, I'm still here. I thought I cut myself off there. Room. Somehow I lost the chat room. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, you did? Let me see.
So that you guys can check it out when you get a chance. And one of the spells what caught my attention, what I thought was so interesting, was she put in there a find your keys spell. And I'm always losing my keys. And so she put a crystal ball, a magnifying glass, a key, and another crystal ball as a spell to find her keys. And I'm like, that's such a great idea. So I just went off on this whole emoji thing, Goddess Star. And so
that's why you were telling me I'm gonna do the emoji thing, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And you're going, I don't know, Star. I don't know what I'm saying.
You know, I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about, but it has to do with emoji. Don't mind me. It's Monday. I'm still loopy from the weekend. It's all good. Let me take a sip of my little glass of soda here.
Girl, I got my wine right here. Trader Joe's wine.
I didn't have time.
I'm not telling anybody anymore what the name is, because the last few times when I said the name, my wine disappeared from Trader Joe's for over a month. Okay, and I blame all of you people. I am not telling you the name anymore. Okay.
And I just want to back her up on that. She has been complaining about you guys now for like a month, stealing her wine. I just want you to know that
Yes.
she is personally responsible for Trader Joe's not having her wine, because every time she mentions it sells out. So we will no longer be discussing the name of the wine. They've got plenty of wines for you to choose from. You can leave our wine alone. Okay?
Yes.
That's all we're going to say about
that. Yeah. You know what I wanted to say though? Do you guys remember in Buffy, they had one of the Buffy shows where I forgot, it was a book that they had, an ancient book that they had, that they were transferring all of the spells and everything to the computer. Remember? So when I knew we were doing this show, that's one of the first things that came to my mind. And I remembered the demon that got transferred into the computer and turned into this monster and all of that. And I was just like, you see what I mean? Cyber, the computer. Witchcraft in the computer.
But you know what though, gotta start, that is excellent symbolism. I remember that.
Right, it is.
Because Giles didn't know. Giles was not tech savvy. So he had Willow, who's the genius, sit there and scan all these magic books, and somehow this demon got loose in the computer.
Into the computer.
And Willow pretended to be a boy in another school to lure her in.
Yes.
And, people
lied to her
and say, well, you don't know this guy, and he could be anyone. She's like, no. This is my big
He loves me.
boyfriend. He loves me. And then she goes and meets the guy, and OMG, he's like big and green with horns, and like,
he's a computer demon.
It's a computer demon. It was
not only that, the book was binding him and keeping him in one place, which that's the good thing about books. Books can bind them and keep the demons or the monsters inside. But because it was scanned into the computer and now it's a new era, a new energy, a new everything, the monster developed and became even bigger and badass.
That's right.
So even they had to learn. Yes, yeah, exactly. Because of all the electrical energies and everything, and what he did, that demon, remember what he did? He connected himself to all the energies of everyone around that he thought that he can reach via the computer, and he was using their energies to make himself even stronger. So it may sound silly, but think about all of the relations with all of that and how the internet works and the energies. Off. The fact that it connects and it can raise the energies together, it's not far off. So think about all of that, because I remember watching that show and going, that's interesting. You know what I mean? And if you think about it, yeah, okay, because there's a lot that happens there with the energy, and electricity and energy like that is very, very powerful. So it can be spread, it can be carried, and it does raise the energy up. And makes it become alive and carries, if you want to put it that way. You know how sometimes they say even with lightning, how it literally jumps and carries to other things because the energy is so raw. Sometimes cannot be contained or anything like that. Think of the computer, which is very similar, and it's very hard sometimes. That's the bad part about the computer and the virtual part, is because sometimes the energies are hard to be contained, because it could travel so many places all at once. So in that sense, think about it in the fact that it's reality and it can do all of that. Okay, what do you think, Goddess?
No, you're right. And don't forget also in that particular episode that the computer demon was able to rope other students to become his minions to help.
Yes.
And it was an internet coven that put him down, where they joined their circle from all over the world. Remember that, I can't remember what she taught. Maybe she was a math teacher. No, she was the computer teacher. And it turns out that she had an internet coven that she got all of them together, and so they had this internet circle from all over the
remember that. I
world,
forgot about that. Yeah.
and they were able to do their chant or do whatever internet witchery that they used to put him down. So that was really one
Yeah,
of
you
the
guys got to watch
really
that
great show.
episode. It was really interesting and it could teach you a lot about how to utilize the computer towards your magic. It really can.
It really can. So we're going to talk about casting spells using emojis. So what do you think about this, Goddess? I'm going to run everything by you so that you can tell me what your thoughts are, because I saw this and I just, like, for 30 minutes, I was just totally...
Okay, when the show is all done, I'm gonna go take a look at it and go over a lot of it more and stuff. But go ahead, girl.
All right. So in the article, she's very, she doesn't sit there talking all day about everything. So I started thinking, well, how can we really do this? How can we use this? Because she was saying, once you decide on your emojis, then you should share it, like Twitter it or send it to someone. That one I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to let people know that what I'm casting a spell for. Unless they're going to be a part of it and they're going to put their energy in it too to help me out.
Right.
I don't think that's such a great idea. First of all, it's human nature. Even if it's unintentional, a lot of times someone will say, "Oh, I'm casting a spell to get $1 million," or whatever it is. You could be sitting there with your friend who subconsciously might not want you to have that $1 million because they're afraid then you won't be their friend anymore. And so they're putting their little negative intentions, like, no, don't let her be a millionaire because then she might not be my friend. So they could be doing like unconscious counterings of your spell. That's my personal opinion. Maybe I'm just a paranoid New Yorker and don't trust anybody. Or, there could be some real ramifications for sharing what it is you're supposed to do. Personally, I think it's personal. So that's just my opinion. So we're going to start there, Goddess Star. How do you feel about, because she says if you share the spell with other people, and this is her opinion and it's her page, and if it works for her, I am not putting down anything that she's saying. What works for her, rock on. If it works for you, awesomeness. I'm just giving my personal thoughts and my paranoia, basically, of putting into it. What do you think about that, Goddess Star, as in creating a spell for yourself and then sharing it with your friends with the hope that it will boost the spell?
Okay. I'll tell you one thing. I'm pretty old school with my witchcraft. Yes, I love the internet and I would do a lot of things via the internet. I mean, here we are. But I do have to say, some things about witchcraft is very old school. That whole thing, I forgot what it was, to dare, to will, to be silent, all of that. Part of your spell crafting and the outcome of it and the way you want it to go is about being silent about it, holding it to yourself, unless it's the people involved with the spell. And I wholeheartedly believe in that part. So yeah, you can, and I think part of it is that because of the internet, the only way that they deal is with sharing. They share, that's how they share, through the wire, through the internet, everything that they do. So now here they are with their spells and they're not thinking about that part of it. So they're thinking, well, why not share it as well? Because I think she's brilliant with the emoji and all the things, that the way she casted the spell. But that last part, for me personally, I will hold that last part for myself. Right. I don't think you need to share it with anybody, because we are of the old school type. We will hold it like that. And the new witches or the newbies or whatever they are, that the internet witches, they will share it. As to how powerful it is for them, I don't know. I think I would equate it to that whole thing about the binding of the one in the office right now. I'm not even going to name him. Anyways, I equate it to that. Think about it in this sense. That whole spell that everyone put out there, first of all, it should not have been put out there to everyone to know it like that. Right. It could have been done secretly. They didn't. Once you open up a lot of things to the general and everyone's seeing it, now whatever equation it had before, which was already, for this kind of thing, it's already a big equation right there.
Right.
You're working against a lot of equation. Now you've opened it up to everyone else and the media and everybody else. You've got the Christians and everybody else now putting in another equation of trying to counter it. Everybody else coming at it with different ideas and thoughts and everything else. The pro-Trump and the anti-Trump going on. So all of those energies now have become a chaotic mess of equations that you're not adding in.
Right.
And it's one of the reasons why that spell was doomed from the get-go.
Yes, it was.
I think of it in that way. So if part of that spell with that emoji, I think she went from, and that's just my opinion, nothing else.
Right.
Whatever you choose to do and whatever. But think about it from that now, when you do a spell, part of it to keep the equation to the smallest minimalist so that you have the chance of that better outcome, keeping it among the least amount of people as possible, so no one has the equation of it to take it away, and to nullify it. So to me, they went from creating this amazing thing and then kicking it in the leg to take it out from under them in a bit. I think sometimes the spells might work, but it may take longer to get there because of them doing it, opening it up to other people. Again, because not everyone is friend or not that they're not your friend. Sometimes friends envy you or whatever it is, and they put another spoke into the equation there for you, and it does not help. So my suggestion is you should take that beautiful spell and keep it to yourself and make it expand on its own energies. Work with the gods and goddesses. If you're newbies, work with the new gods and goddesses energies on its own. You don't need to share it with anyone. Work with that electrical energy and empower it. You know what I mean? There's just a whole lot more to think about outside of including others into it. Other than the people, like if you were casting the spell collectively together to help one another, that's different.
Right.
You know? So it's just something to think about. I mean, it's up to you, however you do it, but I think you should also learn to think first before you act when it comes to spells in general. Okay, that's just my thought on it.
And I 100% agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. All right. So, and with that said, and just to touch on that again, I knew when it's just like you're saying that whole Trump thing, I knew that was already doomed.
Yeah, I knew that.
You know what? I think that what I would much rather have seen happen, and again, I'm not putting down anyone and their beliefs or if they feel that they did was right. There's no judgment here. Don't ever think that Goddess Star and I are judging you. We are just giving our own opinions on things. What you do is your business, not ours. But
Right.
With that said, I would much rather have seen all those same people get together and project for peace in the world and prosperity for everyone, helping us to get through it, for more understanding and compassion between us, so that this administration can see our point and our side, to open up their minds and things like that. But anyway, it is what it is, and it was what it was. So that's all done. But let's turn back to our fun casting spells with emojis, because this is fun. I had so much fun looking. I didn't even realize, I usually just use the little smiley face emojis, and that's pretty much the extent of what I use them for. But
just interrupting 1 second. I think somebody in the chat room said they tried the spell and it works. I didn't get who that was. I think I can't see it.
What, finding the key spell?
Yeah, she said that she just used it and it works. Where was that person? I saw it.
Wow.
Yeah, where is that person? I know I saw it. Can you see it?
Here, I'm looking.
They said, I tried that spell, goddess, and it works. I don't know what I did with it.
Interesting.
Okay.
I
don't know.
Hey, somebody found your Ashley Bunny found the Wiccan Family Temple on Witchbox. I was just pointing that out because I saw that.
Oh, there it is, Miss V. She said, hey, I just tried that emoji spell just now. It works.
Well, then I'm definitely going to be paying attention to it, since I am famous for putting my keys down and I have no clue as to where they are. I do this to myself almost every single day because I'm like the absent-minded professor, but I'm the absent-minded witch. I got so many things on my mind, I'm not paying attention.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
will be
that
doing
happens.
that.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. It sounds like she has a lot of brilliant ideas for spells with the emojis. It sounds interesting to me because as human beings, forget even witches, as human beings, we're very visual people. So to have emojis, which we live on emojis now in our cell phones, on everything else, I think is brilliant. You know, my only thing was that part about her sharing it. I think it kind of
Yeah,
denotes that. It takes away, it subtracts from it, you know? But other than that, it sounds wonderful. It sounds brilliant.
I thought so too. And so because I didn't like that part that had to do with sharing, I decided, well, what's going to be the alternative to that? So I started thinking, well, what if instead of sharing, because I do believe if you're going to use the internet, then we do need to send whatever that spell is out. So I said, what if you set up email boxes where like you could have a universal spell email box or a wish email box with the intention that it's going to the universe for fulfillment. So it could be like, whatever it is at universe@gmail.com or goddess@gmail. You could say, well, the Gmail stands for goddess mail. So you could put, your petitions to different goddesses because you can set up as many free Gmails as you want. So
I
you can,
don't know what it is. I'll tell you, I have no idea why. I love Google, but I cannot stand Gmail. I don't know what it
really, I
is.
love Gmail.
Oh my goddess, I am a Hotmail kind of person. I've always been Hotmail. Even though sometimes by accident it comes up with hot tail and I'm like, what the hell? You know? But I cannot, I don't know what it is. It's like I have this blank that objects to Gmail. So okay, that aside,
See, I love
I think
Gmail.
that's a great idea.
I
I
do.
think that's a great idea. See that you would do a Gmail. I would do even a Facebook group, a secret Facebook group
Or a secret
with
Facebook
people that are
people who you
where everybody that are doing spells together, raising the energies and stuff. And that whole idea of Christopher Penzak's from his book about using the electrical energies, when you take that to collectively, whatever your spell that you're holding on to inside, and you're all saying you have your energies, it's like when we do ritual at full moon. We meet in the park and we all sing, a candle, and we all individually saying that we're working on a particular spell. And then we raise the energies and we send it out to the universe and for ourselves, the universe to take it where it needs to go. So individually, we know what spell we're casting inside. We're utilizing the energies of everyone there to make it even more empowered, but no one really knows the exact true spell that you're casting inside because you're keeping it to yourself. You may shout out one word of what the spell is about, but no one has to know the intricacies of it. So we're all there with the energies and the thought that lets this energy go up into the ether and out into the universe to do its will. So I think even if you don't have a Facebook group, even if you take that emoji spell or whatever spell that you virtually do and you send it up into the ether, work with your energies, put your hand against an electrical outside of an electrical outlet, any of those kinds of things. If you use it for grounding and using the energies there, it's connected in some form there. I don't know. I mean, everything has energy, right? Or grounding or different things. So I think at least that's my suggestion of it, because I still have this thing about, again, maybe again with me and the Gmail. It's so funny because everything I do now is more Facebook oriented, and I have a tendency. I even formed the groups for the Witch Festival event, and I don't want to use emails anymore at all, no matter what emails it is, because people tell me all the time that they did not receive it. So I still have this thing about emails, and it's not getting to the person of who it connects to. You know what I mean? So if I'm thinking in that set, maybe I'm blocking that part on my own. So if I can't accept that, I move on to something that does work. I could see on Facebook that they've received it. I can see that they saw it, kind of a thing. Does that make sense?
It does, but I personally I love Gmail because
I can tell.
it's
I can tell.
definitely
She's like, I don't care what you say, Star. I
yeah,
love my
it's
Gmail.
like yeah, okay, got it, Star, I got you. I'm look, it's your opinion, and if you hate Gmail, that's okay. Goddess Rondi loves Goddess Mail.
Gmail.
I love Gmail, and so or if you want to put for God Mail, it's also we don't want to just
Yeah,
say
yeah.
roll
There
about
you go. There you go. Uh-huh.
God Mail too, but also so you can put like, beautiful Oshun at Gmail or Love Goddess Venus at Gmail, but also there are the other ones too. I did not forget Hotmail because I figure if you want to do love spells or sex spells or energy spells, you could use Hotmail, like Love and Lust at Hotmail. Because
You,
hot heat is energy. So you could for good health spells to get energy spells or love spells, you could use your Hotmail. And then if you want like good news, like you got money or a new job or something really cool, you can use Yahoo because we say Yahoo when we get something good, it's like yay. So
Yahoo!
Yahoo to
Yeah,
set up little email banks that you just send your emoji spell to. Nobody's the wiser. You don't ever have to look
yeah,
at
yeah.
those email boxes, and then it will go to the universe through the electricity. And you can use, since all of them are free, I mean, you can have 1,000 hotmails and all the rest of them. The sky's the limit. So you can make specific deities, give them their own email box and things like that, which is cool. The other thing that I think about emoji spells are, even if someone saw your emoji spell, they're not going to know what it is anyway. It's like a whole different language when you look at all of the emojis that our phones contain. It is literally like a whole different language that you can use. So and we're going to break it down some more because this really fascinated me. I almost couldn't even get up to go and get ready for the show. I was just fascinated. If you give me a topic that fascinates me, I just want to sit here and read about it forever. But so we can do what Goddess Star suggests. Of course, you can have your private Facebook group or set up a little private group that if you want to dedicate it to your god or goddess or whatever it is you're trying to do, you can certainly do it that way. I mean, there's all kinds of ways. There's no limit. And if you in the chat room think of any ideas, by all means, please share them
Well,
because
listen
this
to
is,
this. Yeah, go ahead, sweetie. Because what? Finish that thought.
I have no idea what I was going to say. So just
I'm
go ahead and
sorry.
tell me.
I'm sorry. I made you do a brain fart. I'm so sorry. But but listen to this. Ashley Bonnie said, "I love the protection circle that is cast at the beginning of each episode. It feels as though we all are connected with you and are part of this virtual circle." That's what I mean. We do when we do the casting at the beginning and all of that on the internet, whether you can do it via Google Hangouts, form a coven and do it like that, or do it via Facebook, whatever you have to do, if you can visually see each other and get to know each other that way. So whatever casting of spell that you guys do, whether it's by email or whatever it is, because you've got fans in there about the Gmail online in the
Right.
in
I
the
love
chat room.
Gmail. What can I say? I love Gmail.
I've tried. But I still I don't I'm not able to get onto my Gmail account because I think I have millions of emails by now and I never looked at it once. I'm so bad. I don't like it. But anyways, yeah, she said that I like the fact that you see, virtually speaking, she said it feels like they become part of the circle and what we created here. So that's the same exact thing you can do
Exactly.
online on these internet or cyber covens. I think it's brilliant, especially for people who are far away from each other, who don't have to
Absolutely.
drive to wherever it is, I think it's a wonderful idea. So I think if anybody has those kinds of situations, I think it's a wonderful thing for you guys to do, and go from there,
Absolutely.
right?
100% I agree with you. So now we're
What's our next thought? What's our next thought? Because I want to, somewhere along the way, I want to talk about witch hunts on the internet too.
Ooh, witch hunts. All right. Well, okay. So let's talk about the different
The
kinds of
spell.
emojis, and then we'll move for that. Okay. So I was looking
Okay, go ahead.
at hands. There's praying hands, which you can use as first as your intention that you're praying for something or to say thank you. They also have a lit candle emoji if you want to light a virtual candle for something that it is that you're trying to do. There's the emoji, we're still talking about hands. They've got the two hands held up as if to receive, if you're trying to receive something. And they have hands held out as if you're trying to project.
To
There's the one hand that says stop if you're trying to
yeah.
stop something. They've got fingers pointing to point your way to success. There's a thumbs up sign if you're trying to get an approval of a mortgage or a loan or a new job. There's the muscle sign if you need good health or strength. You could put like praying hands, a flame for energy, a muscle arm for strength, and a heart and a kiss to say thanks. And then the clapping hands, they have clapping hands to release it. So they have that. They even have, Spock's live long and prosper. So if you wanted to send that out because you want a long, prosperous life, you can use that as an emoji, which I thought were really cool. You can
Yeah.
do love spells. They've got hearts, they've got kisses, they've got flames, they've got one with a man and a woman paired. There's one with two men paired. There's one with two women paired. Or if you're trying to get rid of someone, you could use one of the single people with the thumbs up saying, make me single again. Or I figured one to get rid of depression, you could put a sad emoji with an arrow that then points to a happy emoji
Emoji.
and
That's
a
cool.
thumbs up to uplift your mood. So I mean, there's so many things you can do with these freaking emojis. I can't believe it. There's
Yeah, it's brilliant. Who thought of it? It's really brilliant.
brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
They have like if you're trying to defend yourself, they've got an anchor that you can stop someone or anchor them, or the stop sign hand, or the traffic light with the red light, and they have a fence. You could really screw someone up with this roller coaster one that they have the roller coasters screaming downward, or a volcano. They have crossed hammers, crossed swords, shields, garbage cans, bombs, guns. They have all kinds of stuff that you can do. Defense spells. They have pictures of family, a mother, father, and children, or two mothers and children, or two fathers and children. If you're trying to intend something good for your family, if you need money for a new wardrobe, they have tops and skirts and dresses. So you could put like a dollar sign or the sack of money emoji on side of clothes. Choose a person to represent you, or if you need a car, you can do the same thing. They've got all the kinds of cars, SUVs, trucks. You can pick the car of your choice and
I'm
add
using
the
that one.
supporting emojis. I thought about you when I was looking at those
I know.
cars,
I'm using that emoji.
that you can put all kinds of things next to. If you want to be, sexier, you can have like the praying hands, a picture of yourself, the lit candle, the red stiletto, the bikini, and the lust emoji with the praying hands. If you're trying to be sexy or to get in shape, you can use the bikini, the muscle arm, and the thumbs up. And they have clocks. It's like if time is of the essence and you have to hurry up, you can throw one of the clocks in there to say, I need it really quick. They have all kinds of money signs. They've got dollar signs, stacks of cash, bags of money. There's even an ATM symbol so that you can add money to your bank or
That's
create a
brilliant.
universal ATM that money can come out. They have plugs that you can use to get extra energy. If you need to communicate, there's phones, there's a microphone, there's mailboxes and envelopes. You can use that if you need to get out of the house and have a social life. They've got dance dresses, high heels, shirts, ties, and the dancing emojis. If you want a vacation, I'm telling you, I spent a lot of time on these freaking emojis because they're fascinating. If you need a vacation, you can do like the bikini, the tropical drink, the beach with beach umbrella emoji, an airplane, and the rainbow. Plus, there's flags of every place. So if there's a specific destination, You can use the flag to get there. If you want to go somewhere, you can use that flag and add your other stuff. The rainbow symbol also contains all the colors of the chakras. You can use it for your good health, or if you've been through a bad time and you want the storm to end, you can use the sun and the rainbow, because they have these storm clouds. So you can do the storm cloud and then the arrow with the sun and the rainbow, so that, you know, with a smiley face and a clock to make it hurry up. Or you can do the weather magic. They have clouds, all kinds of clouds, suns, rain. They have all of that. If you need clarity or to get out of the dark about something, they've got flashlights, light bulbs, candles for energy. They've got plugs, lightning bolts, red exclamation points. If you do decree magic, because I know that there are people out there who do decree magic where they literally make a decree of what is going to happen. They've got these really cool scrolls that you can use. Or if you're going to school, they've got notebooks, they've got rulers, microscopes, all kinds, scissors, things that you can help you with school. If you want to keep something safe, they have padlocks. If you want spiritual symbols, they've got ohms, yin yang, zodiac, peace signs, Star of David, spirals, pentagrams. If you want to help the world, they've got globes and hearts and peace signs.
Nice.
Even a notebook, so that maybe we can learn from all of this, all the things that are happening here. For sleep, they've got sleeping emojis and the little Z's. If you're a musician and you want to get famous, they've got every kind of instrument, music symbols. You could use the magnifying glass, a bell, and a megaphone next to your symbol of you or the instrument you play or the mic to get people to notice you. Add money signs so you can get paid also. And so there are so many. I mean, you're limited only as far as your imagination is limited, that you can use these emojis and take advantage of technology and do some emoji spells. I'm going to try them personally because
Me too. That sounds wonderful.
It fascinates me. Goddess Star and I love to learn. We say this all the time. And if you give us a topic that interests us, then we're going to run with it. And I cannot wait now to do
go try it, right?
Spells. I can't wait to try them.
Yeah. I can't wait to go look at it, because you know what I like about it? They may have given each of those symbols a meaning, but the great thing about emojis are you can use the universal meaning that people all see it as, or you can take something and what does it mean to you? Put that meaning next to it and project with that. Do what you need to do. I think that's wonderful.
It is. It's wonderful. And just before we get into witch hunting, let's just catch up on our
all right. Yeah.
I think where last we left off, Miss V was saying the find your key spell, which I will be using, works. You already mentioned Ashley saying she loves our virtual circle.
Yeah.
We've got Goddess Judy, a very good friend of mine, who says, my mother taught me a rhyme. Tony, Tony, look around. Something lost must be found. Tony is St. Anthony, and it works 100% of the time. Are the emojis he spells like this? Well, I guess because it's a rhyme that you say out loud, whereas the emojis you're sending out to yourself. You're sending either to a Facebook, private Facebook, or an email, or some sort, or sharing it in some kind of way to send it using the internet as the portal to the divine to get what you want. So that's how you would use the emoji spells, which I'm just totally fascinated with. And Miss V says, as soon as I posted in Facebook my email, binged, and it was a new client. You go, girl. J-Key's making me laugh because she's saying Hotmail is still around. Yes, it's still around, Goddess. I think even AOL is still around.
It is very much around, and I love it. They're forcing it into becoming not Hotmail. They're forcing you to call it now Outlook.
Yes,
but I still keep calling it Hotmail, and they're like, fine, we'll leave you with your Hotmail. But you sure you wouldn't become Outlook? I'm like, no.
I think Hotmail sounds better anyway. I like the name Hotmail.
I like Hotmail.
I have a Hotmail, but I'm just the opposite of you. I never visit it. I have no clue as to what's in it. Probably I won $1 million from Publishers Clearinghouse. I have no idea. Maybe I should
probably broke the site by now with 1 million emails. I'm like that.
And we've got Goddess Judy saying she loves. Thank you, Goddess Judy, for backing me up with Gmail. and her hotmail was hacked. So that's
It's okay.
fine.
It's all right. I
And
like my hotmail.
Jake is saying Yahoo got hacked as well. They're getting oh wow, I didn't know that Yahoo got hacked. I have a Yahoo account too that I never looked at that probably has a trillion things in it. But Goddess Judy says, all I know is that when I join this chat, I can feel the positive energy of this group, like walking into a safe place. I agree the protection spell works. Thank you so much for telling us that, Goddess Judy. We really appreciate that because that is what we are trying to do. And J Key adds, you can post an emoji spell on your Facebook page, but set the privacy. Hold on, my thing is moving around here. The chat room is moving too fast. You can set the privacy setting to be viewed by you only too. Oh, that's interesting. So you can post an emoji.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, on your Facebook page, but then you change the privacy setting so that
to be only viewed by you.
You can see it. I think that's an excellent way to use your Facebook page.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you, J Key, because I'll utilize that too. I'll give that a shot.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. But I love whoever came up with the brilliant concept of the emoji spells. I mean, isn't that what we are? Very visually oriented as human beings. So I think that works.
Absolutely. And you know, she wrote this article. Her name is Taryn Towers, and she wrote this article actually 2 years ago. So we're still kind of behind the times there, Goddess Star, but we're catching up. We're catching up. And she has, aside from all the stuff that I wrote down when I looked at my phone, she's got all kinds of emoji spells in here. Spell for inviting love into your life. If you want to take a look, if you don't want to make up your own, you can use this. She has. I applaud her because she has a preparation section about how to ground.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
You know, so that's great.
Being responsible. She's being responsible and educating at the same time. That's great.
Yeah, I'm really proud of her.
She's brilliant. Yeah.
She's brilliant. She's brilliant for doing that. So there you go. And then she's also got some examples if you want to use hers, if you want to find an optimistic guy who reads and shares your values, or spells to bring prosperity, shielding yourself from thirsty randos. Okay, I have no idea what a rando is. If anybody knows what that is, please tell Goddess Rhonda and Goddess Star.
Yeah, because we have no idea.
You know what that means by any chance, Goddess Star?
I have no clue. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe we're too ancient. I don't know.
I think we are too ancient because I don't know what a rando is.
Because one of the millennials would look at us and go, what do you mean you don't know? It's this, da. And we're sitting there going, okay, fine.
Oh, look, it's an actual word, rando. Rando is short for random.
I was thinking random, but I was like, why not add the M? It's just an M.
Yeah, but no, it's still 2 syllables. So, you know,
it does not make any sense.
And why you
see something? If you're gonna cut something down, make sense with it, because all they're missing is an M to make the word random.
Yeah, I don't get that. And then it also
right. Okay, that to me, then I'm sorry, we're not missing anything. That's just stupid. I'm sorry.
Well, they do have another one. They do have another meaning for it. That's one of the meanings is short for random, and the other one is a person one does not know, especially one regarded as odd, suspicious, or engaging in socially inappropriate behavior. So it can also represent
that one makes sense.
That one, okay, at least it's a different definition.
Yeah, that one is a different, but if it means just random, then okay, that's just being idiotic.
All right, so we've got, okay, so let me go back to what she was saying about a rando spell. Okay, so I guess it's shielding yourself from thirsty random people, because she's saying from thirsty randos. Picture yourself shielded by a protective boundary, anything from a castle tower, which they do have in there, the soap bubble, which they have, depending on how strong you want your shields to be. And so she tweets everything. She puts the emojis and she sends them out by tweeting, and that's okay. She's got an unbinding after a breakup, using scissors and using cords. some of the cords are tied and the scissors are cutting the ties. And she's incorporated the Statue of Liberty symbol for freedom. She's got some really some good stuff in here.
That's smart. She's got a lot to work with because it's a wide world of different things you can create. It's brilliant.
It is. She even has how to clear energy out of your apartment, energy out of your phone. Ooh, prayer for a missed period. That might be TMI, but some people out there might use it. Yeah. Spells to bring focused attention. Please, if you get a chance, really take a look at that website if you're looking for examples to use, or you can look at the emojis. You're crafty, you're inventive, you're resourceful. Look at the emojis on your phone and create your own. But I thought that was just really brilliant and very way cool. And I certainly will be giving that a try. So now,
absolutely,
I wanted to talk about witch hunts. Let's rock on, mommy. Let's talk about witch hunts.
Well, you see, I was looking through quickly before we started the show, saying, okay, so what can we talk about and stuff like that. And I just, as I was putting in internet witches, I saw it came up with internet witch hunts. And I thought it was interesting because what I read in one part, I said, they're absolutely right. So let me go back and find this quickly. It's up here on my screen. And it says, what is internet witch hunting? An internet witch hunt is a campaign targeting a person or group who holds an unorthodox or unpopular view. The term internet witch hunt gets its name from the Salem witch trials, where many individuals were wrongly targeted, convicted of being a witch, and executed. While physical witch hunting has been stopped, internet witch hunting has taken over to replace it. That is so true. These modern hunts take place on a much larger scale, and participants are from all around the world, some of whom are unaware of the consequences of their actions. The problem, like in the Salem witch hunts, is that the individual is not usually fully guilty of the crime that they are accused of and targeted for. But when they are, a modern witch hunt will focus on their prosecution rather than the root of the cause. And when I saw that, I thought of some things, and I'm not going to name names, that I saw on Facebook. There was a name, I can't remember the man's name, and I was not going to name names anyways. He actually created one of those polls on one of those sites, change.org or one of those things. I'm not sure if I should say the name, but I'm going to just say to have a person that we know that speaks their mind be removed from the community, the witch community, period, because him or his ideas. And he actually, on his own recognizance, took it upon himself, I guess, to be in judgment of that person.
Wow.
Now this is supposed to be another witch, mind you. So witch hunts are taking place among our own community, which I'm at a loss for those kind of words with that one. So when I saw it, I'm sitting there going, are you kidding me? That this witch took it upon themselves to now sit in judgment of another witch and created a poll to start changing it so that that person could be removed from the pagan community entirely. I don't know who takes it upon themselves to do that.
I'm a little flabbergasted listening to this.
Yep, like, what? Yep. They thought that person is too outspoken and that many people do not like them. So let's form this group. And he got about 50 signatures all together. And I'm not sure exactly what happened. All of a sudden, it was gone. The signature thing and everything, I brought it to the attention of the person. And they were like, what? How could anybody be doing that? I mean, can we do witch hunts against ourselves and things like that? So in other words, had he been successful, the fact that he began and he got 50 signatures says to me that among ourselves, are we the first people to throw ourselves under the bus?
That
among ourselves, really are we, and using, and the reason I brought it up is because it's called internet witch hunting. And the reason that they said that the campaigns and the targets are even on a larger and grander scale because it becomes international is because of places like platforms like Facebook. So here you are, people forming their opinions based on what, and when you do something like change.org or whatever it is, you have to give the reasoning why you're doing whatever it is. So they had all these things saying whatever it is against this person. And I'm like, so in other words, at any time, and we all know we have, as public witches, we have enemies at all over without any intent, because some of them never even met you.
Yeah.
And they're your enemy, you know? So at any given time, any one of them, if that had succeeded, now imagine that did not succeed. What if at any other time it begins to come, and it can become rampant? So I'm sitting there going, so at any given time, anyone can decide on their own how many enemies that this person have. Let's put that person's name up and say, we can excommunicate them from the pagan community because we don't like their way of that, the fact that they speak their minds. Are they serious? I was so flabbergasted. I was just like, this is not really happening. And the fact that it took off and got even 50 signatures,
Yeah,
said to me a lot about us. And it didn't take long to get that 50 signatures. But something happened along the way that it just disappeared entirely.
that's
But the fact that, isn't that outrageous? So we don't even need outside help. We don't even need outside help, that because back then it was outside people that came for the witches. Now it's witch hunts among ourselves. So at any time they could turn to either of you and say, either of us, and go, let's get rid of Goddess Rhonda and Goddess Star from the pagan community. They speak too much about, they're too outrageous with what they think. Really? And so if they get even 50 people, we'd be sitting there going, but what did we do? What exactly did we do to be chosen to be excommunicated from the pagan community?
First of all, how do you excommunicate someone from the pagan community? I mean, the pagan community is so broad. Excuse me, let's just say the magical.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Not everyone considers themselves, just because you're magical does not mean you're pagan or consider yourself to be.
Yeah.
So just in the magical community, what makes you think you can drum anybody out? And first of all, I know who you're talking about. We're not going to mention names.
Yeah.
That person who is outspoken keeps their opinions on their own page. You will never see this person put their opinion on someone else's page.
Nope.
What you put on your page is your business. Don't tell me what I can put on my page. I'm going to put whatever I want. It's my page, and I can say whatever the hell I want. And I respect you. If you put something on your page and I don't like it, you will never see me
walk away
your page and saying, oh, blah, 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 because it's your page. It's none of my business. You're entitled, and I always say this, call me a little snarky about it, but you're entitled to your wrong opinion is what I'll say to myself, and then I just walk away. Because it's your opinion. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know what they're on this earth to learn in this lifetime. Maybe they have to experience certain negative things or whatever it is. It's none of my business. But please don't attack people for what they put on their own freaking page.
They didn't go to anybody else's page and put it there and says, I want you to take it. I want you to listen to it. They didn't do that.
No.
They and yes, it's strong opinions, but it's their strong opinions. And you know what some of the feedback was? Well, I see it in the news feeds. Well, then unfriend the person, then you would not see the news feeds on it.
You can even just unfollow them and you'll never see their posts again.
Yeah.
But
it's
none of your business.
You know how many of them that I see in my news feeds and I just don't agree with? I just don't see it. I'm like, la la la. It's just that I was just shocked. First of all, it's the reason why some of them say they're not pagans. And honestly, I'm not pagan. I'm a witch. And it's the reason why a lot of them refuse to be called pagan under that heading of pagan, because pagan covers such a broad aspect of people.
It does.
Okay. So to me, when you're calling yourself pagan, it's basically not really saying who you are because you're afraid or you are still in the closet. That's fine. To each his own. I am not in the closet. I've never been in the closet. I've always been out of the closet because once I decided that this was who I am, I never looked back. That's just me. Everybody's different.
Right.
But if you want to call yourself under the heading of pagan, you would never hear me saying I'm pagan. I would say I'm a witch, or when I say I'm a witch and the person doesn't understand, I said, okay, fine, Wiccan. And I would, I'm like, and then they go, oh yeah, the aha moment hits them, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you understand that part, right? Yeah, okay, good. And I just work with it from there. Or like when I told you guys when I was in the hospital and I saw Wicca, I was like, oh my gosh, I grabbed it with both hands and I was like, yeah, that's me, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? It's
I
just
do.
that the thought that people can use the internet, and I said, you see what I mean? Witches have taken the internet and they've turned it into a tool or a bullying or manipulation. But do you see how the internet can be taken in many aspects?
Absolutely, it can.
And that's what they meant by the whole bit about the witch hunts and how it's become on a grander, larger scale, and how it has become out of hand for a lot of people. And the saddest part is watching the elders, some of the elders in the community, either allowing it, condoning it, or following it, or even beginning some of it. And I'm as you can see, I'm like here like crazy because I was just.
I think a lot of this comes from, there are so many people, got a star. What do we call them? That they've got the itises, where they feel that everything what they're doing is right, and everything that you do is wrong. Oh, their way is the only way. And that is always where the trouble starts, is when you are such a control freak, or when you think that your way is the only way. I consider myself a universalist, which means I respect all religions, Christianity, Judaism, paganism, Hinduism, whatever you want to come up with, I respect. I use a lot of them. I use all different kinds of modalities. And so, but there are people that would condemn me for that, because I'm not sticking to the old ways. Well, how do I know what those old ways are anyway? I don't remember what I was doing 10,000 years ago in that lifetime. So don't say that, I'm not sticking to the old ways when you yourself don't know what the old ways are, past however old you are, or past however what generation, told you this is the way it is. Don't judge people by them. Everyone has to work within their own modality with what works for them. And we have to respect each other. If we're not going to respect each other, then we are just as bad as the Muggle world that wants to walk around pointing fingers. I would love to believe, and sadly, I have been proven wrong so many times, that we are spiritual beings, that we're working with the elements and natures to make something better, to create better change, to help each other and to heal each other and to love each other. And it just truly hurts my heart when I see this kind of petty, finger pointing, and so had the nerve to say on their page, whatever it is they thought, that's their page. Why is your life so empty? Do you really have nothing to do, that you've got nothing to do but read someone else's page and comment on it? That's where it's time for you to get a job or a hobby or something.
Yes.
Because if you're spending all this time and getting angry over someone who you don't even freaking know's page, then you've got too much time on your hands. And so maybe what you could do is come up with a way that you can help people to love one another, to bring peace to the world, to help. And we've got plenty of people that need help from all of these hurricanes and fires and everything else that's going on. Let's refocus and send some positive energy out, instead of looking at someone else's page, and because you don't like the way they do their magic, or you don't like what their opinion about the government is, or whatever it is, this is really not the way for us to progress. And it's actually, you're the problem. I'm just going to flat out say it. You're the problem.
Yep.
If you have no solutions, you are the problem. So if you have nothing to do but read someone else's page and comment on it, get a life, get a hobby, do something to help the world. Since you're this big witch who knows everything and you've got all the answers and your way is the only way, prove it. Bring some peace to the world. Bring some food and shelter to those who have no electricity right now, that are drinking out of public lakes and streams so that they can hydrate themselves. Why can't you use your energy for good and to help people instead of taking time and wasting time denigrating one person who has a right to their opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, a lot of them are being called internet trolls.
Trolls.
Internet trolls or
Right. Trolls
sublets
or
or whatever you want to call them. And I was just, so when I saw this today, I was like, yes, yes, I've seen too much of that. And I watched it, and my mouth, I was literally reading it and seeing it and going, this is not really happening. Are we really that, have we really as witches come that far that we are willing to throw each other under the buses? Not only are they throwing them there, but they're helping them get under there and beat the crap out of them at the same time too. And then when you go to their pages to look at them, you're like, okay, so you're just a sniving little, whining little whatever, and now you want to be, in other words, to me, their 15 minutes of fame is to say, I took that person down, that public witch, I took that public witch down. That was me. That's the way I'm looking at them. They're trying to gain their 15 minutes of fame because I've never heard of the person before until I saw them do that. And then I finally took a look at their page and go, are you frigging kidding me? Jealousy, like red. Is your face red or what? Or is it green for jealousy, right? One of those things.
Right, green.
Yeah. You know, I'm just like, you are so jealous of this person. It's ridiculous. I've never heard of you and I will never hear of you again. And to be honest, down, I don't even remember the person's name. This is how little they are. This is how small they are. And they needed their 15 minutes of fame, or is it 5 seconds of fame that they had? Because there's no other reason that you would start something like that. I was, I'm
sorry, I'm not laughing at you, Goddess Star. I'm laughing because I just went, and I just happened to glance at the chat room, and Goddess Judy.
What they say? What they say?
Well, Goddess Judy, I love Goddess Judy. She's on a kind of a roll right now, but she says, I just caught this 3. I'm going to read the other ones too. She's making 3 points. And the third point is, it seems that those who possess confidence and decency and goodness and character are targeted by those that don't. Yes, Goddess Star, they are trolls or SPOS, subhuman pieces of shit. You go, Goddess Judy. Goddess Judy also speaks her mind. That's why we love her.
But you know what I mean? I was just so floored when I saw it that I was just like, we don't need outside help anymore.
No.
We ourselves are doing it.
You know what's really upsetting to me about this as well is that, we work so hard to stop the negative stereotypes about witches. All we want to do is hex people and curse people and, I don't know, take children and eat them for lunch or whatever it is. And we're working so hard to change that by setting good examples, by showing that we have good character, that we're here to care, to help, to give back. Goddess Star just started this great Witches Giving Back group, trying to do charitable works. And then we've got our own people living up to the stereotype of being mean and nasty and wanting to hex people and put people down. That really hurts me because we are working so hard to counter that stereotype. The people aren't afraid of us. If they see me walking down into a store with a pentagram around my neck, I don't want them running and duck. Oh, here comes the witch. Oh my God, here she comes. She's got a devil symbol on her chest. I would love for them to say, oh, she must be a nice person, or she's helping people, or, she believes in natural ways of resolving issues. I would love for people to look at witches as benevolent. Now, I'm not saying all of us are benevolent, but I think the ones that I've met, certainly they have good intentions towards other people. And I would love to see that become the stereotype. I hate it when I see these people fulfilling the negative stereotypes, making it look like that's what people expect of us. And so that's really counterproductive to encouraging witchcraft as a system of spirituality or magic. Not everybody considers witchcraft. I'm very spiritual with it, but not everybody is. Some people just, use it for the magic portions or whatever it is. But wouldn't it be nice if we band together and really made an effort to change that negative stereotype about us instead of living up to what people would consider a bad name of being a witch. That really
Yeah.
truly irritates me beyond anything.
Yeah, because the minute they hear you're a witch, they recoil, or they,
Mhm.
they start doing this thing, and you're like, okay, you're being an idiot, and you walk away. But you know what? They're not necessarily being an idiot, because that's what their concept of it has been.
Exactly.
That's all they know. So, I mean, who made, I mean, I've always been thinking in the sense of witches giving back, but I didn't think about actually putting it into action until when I heard Maxine Sanders. You remember when we heard her talking about what they do in England and
Yeah.
all the things that they do, and that in their neighborhood or their community, people know it's the witches that's coming at night and putting the goods there for them. And in the morning, they open up their door and they were starving or whatever it is, and there's food waiting for them, and they know it was the witches that did it.
Right.
You know, in the rest of the world, the majority of times when you see charitable doings, everybody think of the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, the Catholics, the Christians, but no one would ever dare think that some witches the night before gave the food or whatever it was, because when we're ready to give, what have we been doing? We've been giving it to those organizations, and at no time are they going to say, the witches of the New York City Wiccan Family Temple gave us this money or this food to help. At no time have they ever said that. Make-A-Wish Foundation, none of the ones that we've given to over the years,
Right.
not one of them has said the witches in this particular temple did that. So it's the reason why I started saying, we have to do the same thing. We have to allow people to start to know that it is witches that is giving to the community, that it is giving, and let them know that it's us. Not that, again, like I said, it's not that we're patting ourselves on the back, but it's simply to state the facts that we are giving as well. It's just that no one ever knows. We're like the silent hero or
Right.
heroes, you know what I mean? We're
Right.
like that silent partner that no one ever sees or hear of, but we're still doing. And we just don't want to be silent anymore. We want people to know it's us. We did that. We gave, and we are the ones that did that and helped and whatever it is. And there's no harm in that. I mean, isn't that what all the other religions do? They
Mm-hmm.
let you know it's their Catholic organization or their Christian organization or the ministry that's here to help. They'll preach to you, to Goddess and God heaven back and front before they give you that food, because we're the ones giving you that food.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, I know I kind of went off on my rant of passion there.
No, that's okay, because you're
But,
absolutely right about this.
it's but when Maxine Sanders explained all those things to us, it just meant that aha moment of, you know what? She's right. We need to, this is part of the changing of what people think. Don't recoil. No, we were there to help you before, weren't we?
That's
You
exactly.
know, they used to, in the olden times, it's the witches that they used to go to help heal or anything else. They weren't ashamed then to let it be known that it was the witches back then. Then something happened and changed all that, and they were ashamed and whatever, and they never allowed it after that. So here we are again, claiming it back again. That's all.
Well, something else also, which I'm just going to throw out there, just quickly, because I'm looking at the time, is
Oh, okay.
that one of the things is, like when one of my nieces teen, and we were in New York this summer, and was this summer or last summer? Last summer it wasn't this summer, last summer. And I was wearing a pentacle around my neck, and she looked at it. Keep in mind that my sister is a born again Christian, so all of her children are. And she looked at my pentagram, my pentacle, and she said, "Auntie, that makes me very uncomfortable." And I said, "Why is that, sweetie?" And she goes, "Well, isn't that a sign of the devil?" So I got the opportunity to actually explain it to her, what the points mean, how the elements come into it, all the things. And I said, "You know what, sweetie, when you see a symbol, just because someone else says that it's evil, learn things for yourself. Don't just take what someone else says and just believe it. I want you to question everything and look things up for yourself and see what they mean." Now she's very comfortable with it because she understands what that means. And we have an opportunity to explain things to people when they start to get into, and listen, I was raised as, a Christian too, and you get taught all these different things. But one of the things, I had spoken about this a couple of weeks ago about how I discovered a goddess in chapter 12, woman in the sky with the moon at her head and the sun, the earth at her feet, about to give birth to a son. And, they never talked about that in any church I sat in. But the other thing I would like to bring up, when you do have to deal with a Christian who's suddenly scared to death of you or says, oh, you're going to go to hell or things like that, I want you to remind them that when they talked about Jesus in the manger, and how three magi, which is short for magician, magi, three magicians. See, they don't say three magicians because then everybody would know what a magician is. Not everybody knows what a magi is. And they have it with a capital M. Three capital M magi came and bought Christ presents. Well, if it was okay in the Bible for three magicians, look it up if you don't believe me. What does M-A-G-I mean? It is short for magician. If it was okay for Christ to accept three gifts from three magicians, you now have an example of positive magic or people who do magic in the Bible. Right there, giving Christ presents. Right there. It's right there for you.
See that the issue with that is sometimes I've heard people look at it, but I've brought that up to people, and what they said to me is, oh, I'm hearing feedback. Are you hearing feedback? Let me check and see if I don't have. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, no, mine is still off. Okay. So what I've heard people say is, oh, you must mean the magicians that with the cards flying around and everything. And I'm like, no. These are high magicians, witches, or whatever it is. They are magical people.
Okay, that's just stupid to say, oh, it must be the people who do card tricks.
Yeah. People are just ignorant. I call that ignorance, actually.
That's just, what that is a desperate attempt to rationalize keeping their own system.
Yeah,
that's what that is. That's just stupid. That's just stupid. I have to tell you, I'm a very outspoken person. I try to be, but I would probably
I know.
I'm sorry. It's just flat out stupid.
At that point, honestly, whenever they say anything, I kind of go, okay, we're done. And I walk away because I'm not talking stupid. I can't do stupid.
I probably would just flat out say it. I'm sorry, because, there was no people doing card tricks in the Bible. They weren't talking about, first of all, those magicians are illusionists because they flat out telling you they're creating an illusion. They're not doing any real acts of magic. But my attitude is, if it was okay for three magicians to go to Christ when he was a baby and offer him three gifts, then it should be okay for you to accept us as magicians or witches or whatever you want to term us as magical beings. It was good enough for Christ. It should be good enough for you. And that's my attitude about that. But I do also know that there are people that the very idea of changing their belief system or having to accept a truth is just too much for their coping skills to handle. And so they'll make excuses or make a rationalization, or they'll just flat out say, well, the devil's making you say that to trick me. And that's why it makes sense, is because the devil's trying to make it make. It's like, please.
Oh my goddess.
And then when you get to that point, it is time to walk away. It's like, what, rock on with your belief. Peace out and good luck.
I don't even say peace out. I'm just like, you know what? Okay, we're done. I walk away because I'm like, we're done.
Because that's just I don't even know what to. That's just stupid. But
it's just
with all that said, let's go one more time into the chat room before we sign off. For the night. Let's see. We've got Ellen Johnson who says, "That's so weird. I've been excommunicated from 3 religions." LOL. Good for you.
Good for you, girl.
We've got Terza L, who's giving us a mark of 100. Very good. We've got Goddess Judy, who says, if this person finds someone offensive on a mobile stage, why not just walk away, turn the page, put yourself in a place to not encounter them unless they attack your life? Why destroy another? It sounds like the people hunting witches to destroy them show a lack of decency or substance in themselves, or they are jealous. I agree,
That's what
Goddess Rhonda, they need to
I
move on.
agree.
I agree too. I think they're jealous. She says, like Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Jesus, Buddha, the best defense response is bathe others who function at a lower energy and whiter pink light, not to be cheesy, but pray for the sadness and evil in them to be healed. I think that's a very beautiful
Yeah.
thing to show love and pray for them. The irony of
Yeah.
most religions is their rituals can be traced to pagans. You got that right. Candles, incense, prayer, dare I say spells, and Mary to me is a goddess. Sad how people don't see what's in front of them. We are so right there with you, Goddess Judy, and thank you for sharing that with us. Well, I really enjoyed this show because we learned a new way. Even though this woman wrote this article too, even though we're 2 years behind the times, Goddess Star, we're catching up.
It's
We
okay
learned
with
a
it.
very way cool way to cast spells using emojis, which I personally thought was totally brilliant. And
It is.
I really enjoyed that. So please if you can, look at the article. She gives some good examples, or you can go through your phone like I did and look at all of your emojis and come up with your own stuff. Be creative with it. I just thought that was cool. You can do Goddess Stars Way, send it out through a private Facebook page, or as Jay Key suggested, to put it on your Facebook page and then change the settings so that only you can see it, or you can set up your email boxes. If it doesn't matter if you use Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, whichever one is your preference. Don't use your work email. I suggest do not do your work email, but set up your own, your own little private things on your own private computer. And we would love to know if you do
How it works.
spells, how it works. So please consider joining our Priestess View show group that we have on Facebook. And if you scroll down, even in this description or the description in the groups, you'll find all of our websites where you can contact us or make appointments for spiritual counseling or classes or things like that, so you can get in touch with us. And as always, we are so grateful to all of you who watch us and support us, learn with us, teach us, because we learn so much from you as well. And we just love you to pieces. And so with that said, merry meet.
Merry meet, merry part,
merry meet
and
again.
merry meet again. Thank you all so much,
everyone. Next week we will have with us, hopefully, if everyone gets better in her
healthy.
household, we will have Crystal Madison as a part of our roundtable. She is the Witch of Sleepy Hollow, and we're going to be talking about setting up festivals, ethics, what our responsibilities are as witches or leaders of the community, things like that. So that should be a really good show too. We'd love to have you join us with that, and we'd love to have your feedback as well. So everyone have a beautiful, blessed night. We thank you again, and please join us next week. Thank you, everyone. Absolutely. Good night.
That's a good night, everyone, and have a great week as well. Okay, and thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.